What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Words to My Face. My name is Brian, and yeah, Brendan, he had an unfortunate accident this week. He beat you in chess. Not a good idea. Well, not at least if you want to stay healthy. So here's to a quick recovery to Brendan. I know you all thought I was dead because that's what Brendan announced last week. That was nice, Brendan, wasn't it? I was dead. I'm back. Yeah. But yeah, Brendan, yeah, like I said, he beat Chewie in chess. Not something you want to do. Just fair warning, Chewbacca does not like to lose in chess. So yeah, if I had the sound effect to play it right now, it's not my thing. I don't do sound effects. But yeah, so welcome to the show this week. It is the entertainment show, so we will be talking about all that you need to know in TV, movie, and video games out there. And I do have a horrible movie of the week. I'm just going to skip it. Just because it just doesn't feel the same without Brendan. Not the same. Plus, I can just save it for next week then. And I don't have to watch 2 horrible movies in a row. In 2 weeks in a row. Sweet. Because I did have the plague last week. I mean, literally the plague. That's where I was. I was out with the plague. The black bubonic plague came to me, and it was not good. And so I already was feeling bad. Didn't want to watch another horrible movie. And I also couldn't talk last week. All right, I'm getting into stuff that I don't need to be getting into. You didn't tune in to hear me talk about me having the plague and how Chewbacca might have been the carrier. But I didn't say that, Chewie. No, it wasn't me. It was not me. But let's jump into everything you need to know. And let's start talking. Let's talk some TV news. And Independence Day 2. Yes, you've heard about it. It has already been announced. A lot of things have been out there. You've heard that a lot of the returning cast is coming back. Almost everybody but Will Smith is coming back. And we finally started getting a few glimpses at what we're going to be seeing with this movie. Now, if you remember Independence Day 1, you had Will Smith was an Air Force pilot. You had a president, and you had Jeff Goldblum, who was a scientist who worked for a news company or something like that. Aliens show up and just destroy everything. So, hey, humans, let's fight back. And that's pretty much the synopsis of the first story. And so, yeah, so we will have returning actors. You'll have Jeff Goldblum, of course, is returning. Vivica A. Fox, Bill Pullman, Judd Hirsch, and Brent Spiner. Yes, Brent Spiner is going to be returning. How he's going to be returning? Because if you remember his character from the first one, he was that doctor that was doing the autopsy. And I believe he was murdered by the aliens. So it's going to be interesting how they're going to bring him back. But he's going to be returning. Maybe they'll just pretend he didn't die in the first one and bring him on back, or maybe he'll play a different role. But still, you know, who doesn't love some Data? And yeah, that is Data from Star Trek. So who doesn't love some Data? I love some Data. Let's bring Data into everything. Hell, paint his skin white like you did as Data and make him into an android, and that would be cool with me. If he literally is just called Data in Independence Day 2, I will not be disappointed. But actually, I would enjoy that. Someone should call the producers. Let them know that Brent Spiner should be Data. Simple as that. But yeah, so the story, the first, oh, and also, this is probably the key. They are bringing back the original director, Roland Emmerich. And that's really important because you look at a lot of movies that are reboots and remakes nowadays, and it just doesn't feel like to capture the magic of the first one. And that's because it's somebody else's vision. And it's somebody coming in saying, okay, I see what they were doing there. I'm going to try to imitate that rather than the person who originally did it doing it again. You saw that with Mad Max Fury Road. That movie is awesome. And that's a lot because the original director who had the original vision throughout the first 3 came back into the new one and really kept that same feel, gave you something new, but kept that same Mad Max feel to it. So this is going to be really important. And that actually gives me a little more hope than I originally had for Independence Day 2 when we first heard about it. So what the synopsis of the story is that the nations of Earth have banded together and are using alien technology, because if you remember at this end of the first, they destroyed a whole bunch of alien ships to erect an Earth defense system. So they're trying to make sure that, hey, if these aliens come back or if any other aliens come back, we're ready for them. And, well, they do come back. So, hey, and apparently this Earth defense system is not up to par with the aliens. Yeah. So the movie takes place 15 years after the original movie, and we're going to see a lot of these characters come together and pretty much do similar to what they did before. Now, there is one other character that was just recently announced to have signed on, and that is William Finch. And you might know him from a lot of things. He has been in a million things. I want to say he was in Longest Yard, and I mean a billion things. You see this guy, you know who he was. Yeah, he's pretty famous. He's been out there a lot, and he has signed on to do not only number 2 but also 3 and 4. So we're getting a lot of Independence Day coming up in the next couple of years. But apparently his character is signed on. He's going to be the Global Defense Coordinator. He's going to be the 5-star general of the Global Defense Force, whatever you want to call it. Funness will ensue. Now, I'm excited about seeing Independence Day 2. Number 1, Independence Day 1 was really the vehicle that, I mean, Will Smith did movies before that, but that was really the vehicle that launched him to stardom. At least A-list stardom. That was where people saw, okay, you put Will Smith in a movie, he can do it. And he's been doing it ever since. That's pretty much where he separated himself. And younger generations might not realize this. Guy used to be a rapper. That's how he made his name to begin with. And then, did Fresh Prince, and then started doing like Independence Days and everything after that, and kind of separated himself into a real, legit, bona fide actor. Will Smith is, to this day, one of my favorite actors. I can't name a bad movie he's been in. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I mean, 7 Degrees of Separation wasn't really my thing, but he did play a good role. Just, not really my thing. So I'm looking for this to be a big blockbuster movie, but hopefully they won't take it away from what made Independence Day 1 so good, and that was the characters. They really developed some characters. I mean, you had the president, you had Jeff Goldblum, who was the scientist who was getting back with his ex-wife, who happens to work with the president. You had Jeff Goldblum's father, who was a really cool character in that. Then you had, on the other side, Will Smith and Vivica A. Fox, a young couple and she has a child, and they get separated, and she kind of makes his journey across the country to kind of reunite with him. And there was characters that you loved, and you wanted to see them succeed. And it wasn't hard, because they made the villain the ugliest, nastiest, gloopiest, yeah, that's a word now, alien that you'd ever seen. And when Will Smith punched that alien coming out of the spaceship, that was one of the moments it was like, yeah, go humans, So if they can kind of capture that magic that they did from the first one, I really see this movie being good. Now, do we need 3 and 4? Who knows? Maybe they're trying to go a little broader. Maybe they're doing some sort of, okay, the aliens come back, kind of we lose the first one, looked really bad in the second one, but we have a planned one in the second one, and then the third one we kind of start fighting back. The whole Star Wars, Lord of the Rings type thing. Number 1 is where the darkness comes. Number 2 is where you get in the heart of darkness, and number 3 is where you start seeing that light shine through the clouds. So if they can kind of follow that formula, which is a good formula for trilogies, I mean, that's how trilogies work. I don't know any good trilogy that doesn't use that type of formula. So we'll kind of see how it goes. And yes, I do believe it is going to be a planned story arc trilogy. Whether all these characters that are signed on for number 2 will return in the next couple is to be seen. But we will be seeing at least William Finch, I don't know, something like that, return for the next one. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Are you excited to see an Independence Day 2 movie and the subsequent sequels after that? Or do you think they should have just left it as a one-off? Because honestly, it was good enough as a one-off. Hit me up. Let me know. Comments down below, of course, at What's My Face on Twitter. Google Plus and Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us. But let's keep on rolling. And let's talk a little TV news. Yeah. And I wanted to talk about a show. Again, it's another show that's been announced. It's nothing new. But they got a little bit of a teaser trailer just came out this past week. And that is Ash versus the Evil Dead. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, shame on you. Shame on you. How have you not seen Evil Dead? At least how have you not seen Army of Darkness? I remember growing up as a kid. Now, these movies were a little bit before my time, at least the first 2. The third one came out, I think, when I was like 5 years old. So still a little before my time. But I remember seeing that movie on TV like every Saturday. That movie was always on, and it's because it was a classic. I mean, I didn't know why he had a chainsaw on his arm, but I knew it was badass that he did. And his boomstick, come on, that is a boomstick. I mean, that is now part of American culture right there. It was a classic series. And we're lucky because again, they're bringing back the original group that did this movie. Sam Raimi is coming back to produce. I believe he is also directing the first episode of this show, and we will have Bruce Campbell reprise his role. Now, this show is set to air on fall, so we're looking for probably a September, October release date, and I can't wait because Starz is a network that will let you do what you want to do. They won't be censored. They can do all the bloody goriness that the Evil Dead series is known for. He will be able to chainsaw those deadites in half if he sees fit. So look forward to that. And if you are a fan of the original trilogy of movies, then you should be excited about this. Now, the story is really supposed to take place about 20 years after the Army of Darkness ends. So he comes back to the regular time, and he's a wreck. This guy has been fighting zombies and evil witches and all these crazy demons for the past couple of years, and like it's pretty normal. He's suffering from, sort of PTSD. He's very cranky. He doesn't really like anybody. He doesn't get close to anybody. He's trying to get those memories out of his head. Think about a war veteran. You see some pretty bad things, and it's not like it just goes away. So with Evil Dead, it's actually, it's kind of a new take on this, because with a lot of these movies, you just see, okay, the hero won in the end. All right, sweet. He rides off into the sunset. Is there nothing else after that? Like, does he just totally forget about what happened? Is he like, oh, okay, well, I won, so I don't have to worry about anything ever again? Well, it's kind of showing you what happens, a little bit, if what the character would be like after 15 years after such traumatic events happen. So we pick up with Ash. He's going to be working in a big box store, I think like a Costco or something like that, and the Deadites, they start returning. This black plague comes back to the earth, and it's up to Ash to strap back on the chainsaw, grab the boomstick, and head to town. And in the first teaser trailer we saw, it really wasn't much, but you just see pretty much blood dripping, and then you see a bloody chainsaw attached to his arm, and he says, "Everything's groovy." And so it really looks like they're going to capture the magic of the Evil Dead trilogy, and I can't wait to see it. And so you have a couple other characters that have been announced. Lucy Lawless will be in this. You might know her as Xena Warrior the Princess. You might have seen her in Spartacus. She's apparently this mysterious character who blames Ash for the rising darkness that is coming back to Earth. She kind of says that the darkness follows him around. So I don't know if she's going to help him or if she's going to try to hinder him. That's to be seen, but it will throw an interesting dynamic in there. And now Ash isn't fighting all the Deadites alone. He will be joined by two of his younger co-workers at this big box store who probably just get thrown into it. I can see the scene right now in my mind. Ash and these two people are like closing up the Costco or something like that, and all of a sudden a Deadite pops out of nowhere, and Ash has to dismember him with the various tools that would be laying around a Costco. So I can already see that, and then almost traumatizing these two young co-workers, but then they oh, we got your back, and that'll be the start of the series. I haven't seen anything about that. I haven't read anything about that, but I can just picture that. I can picture it, and I can picture some of his one-liners coming through. And if Bruce Campbell didn't come back to the show, I honestly wouldn't care. I would say, what, this is not a story. This is just them doing a remake. Now, they did do an Evil Dead remake 2 years ago, I believe, without the original people. And a lot of people said it was really good. I honestly didn't see it. I just wasn't interested in it. Once you break the mold with a movie like Evil Dead, it's why go back and rehash it? So, but a lot of people, it did hit some commercial success, and that might be why we're getting this TV show, because that movie showed that people are still interested in this. This is a cult classic, if ever there was a cult classic, especially the whole trilogy. So we're looking at a pretty fun, adventurous, gory, bloody, one of those B-type movies, but the reason people like B movies, because they're like so bad they're good, but they're good because they're good and they're funny, but yet they're gory and crazy, and you can't watch the screen half the time, but you want to watch the screen. It's just one of those weird scenarios that just people keep coming back for more and more and more. So I'm looking forward to seeing this TV show when it hits in the fall. Let me know what you think. Are you excited? Are you glad Bruce Campbell's back? Do you think they should have gone a different direction? Hit me up. Let me know. Comments down below. Of course, at Words to My Face on Twitter, Google Plus, Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us, but let's keep on rolling. Man, this is going to be a short show tonight. Yeah. My voice isn't back yet. The plague does that to you. Sometimes the plague just gets a hold of you and won't let go. Won't let you go. Plague. Yes. Yeah. Is the plague still out there? I bet you it's in some lab somewhere. It would suck if some lab gave it to me. I do live near DC, so maybe I did get the plague. Maybe I have Ebola. No, I don't have Ebola. I'm all right. Yes. And if you'd like to send me any experimental medicine, I will not take it. So please do not send it to me. Yeah, that'd be pretty weird if you did send that to me. I just don't know what I'd do. I'd be like, oh, there's pills in a bottle. I am not touching these. You might be trying to give me more plague. Quit trying to give me the plague. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on. So let's talk about XCOM 2. And XCOM 2 was just recently announced, and this will be the follow-up to the amazing game that came out a couple of years ago, I believe 2013, maybe 2012. It's a turn-based strategy game. And now you might remember XCOM. It came out, I believe the first original games were out back in it was called UFO Unknown XCOM. And those were back in the 90s, and those were turn-based strategy games. And when this came out, I looked at it, I was like, that looks interesting. I do like turn-based strategy games. And I'm not talking about turn-based strategy games like a Final Fantasy or anything like that. Not too far off, but you get placed in a map. You have 4 to 6 characters that you control, and there's a whole bunch of baddies all over the place. You have characters with strengths and weaknesses, like you have heavy troopers that have rocket launchers, but they have really good machine guns, but they can't move as many spots. You have assault troops who can move a lot faster and have better range, and then you have like snipers who can see really far downfield. You have support troops who can hold more, medical supplies and stuff, and they have the biggest range of them all. And you have to kind of, fit these play. It's like a big board of chess that changes every single time you play it. So I love this game. I beat it. I bought the original, beat it. Then Enemy Unknown came out, which was pretty much the same game, which I didn't realize at the time. It was pretty much the same game. I thought it was like an expansion or something. So I bought it again, and was not disappointed though. It's that good of a game that I didn't mind beating it on the original, and then buying it and beating it again. So I probably beat this game about 6 times, and it's got a ton of replayability. They always had these different gambits, I like to call them, different things that, like, okay, you don't have as much ammo, okay, you don't hit it as hard, or okay, you can't move as many spaces. So some different things in there to really spice up the game. But so XCOM 2 is going to be starting. Apparently we lost the war in the first one, which kind of sucks because I totally didn't lose the war. I totally won. I blew up that alien ship in the end. But all right, let's just say we lost the war. The aliens are now taking over the Earth, and they are, just running things. They have started developing these mega cities, and just for colonization purposes, and everybody, all the humans have been kind of scattered across the world. XCOM has been disbanded, and they're just all over the place. So you have the remnants who are on the fringe of societies, which is apparently the only place the aliens still haven't gone. And you have some remnants of the XCOM forces that band together, and they start to develop a resistance against the aliens. And that's where the game takes place. You're going to have a mobile base, not like the set base you had before where you had to build it up and everything, but you are going to be building smaller bases all over the world to kind of help these resistance forces. You'll still have the traditional turn-based strategy like you did. I'm imagining they're going to keep the squads about the same, 4 to 6 units, and then you go up against different levels of baddies. Hoping we get a couple different variations in weapons, because if I had to have one complaint, there wasn't that much depth in the weaponry. You pretty much knew, okay, this one's better than that one's better than that one, but then that's it. There's 3 levels of weapons, and then you're done. And you didn't really have to vary it too much. Again, they were kind of sticking with the chess theme. A knight can only move up in one, up 2 spaces over 1. That's all I can do. Bishop can only move diagonally, So they were kind of keeping it in that role where you really have to combine the forces and strategically move them in order to win each round. But I'm hoping for a little more diversity with this game. Now, the one thing that kind of bums me out is that it's going to be a PC-only game for the first. I haven't seen anything about the console versions coming out, but they only announced the PC release. Now, the PC release will be coming out in November, which it works. I mean, PC's probably a better way to play this game, to be honest with you. It's like playing an RTS. You probably should play it on a PC. but I'm a console gamer, so it would really bum me out if I didn't get a console version of this game. So that's what we're looking at, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. Like I said, I put probably over 100 hours into that game, just beating it over and over and over, just because it was so much fun. And one of the things that they're going to be doing with this this game is they're going to have, what is that called? Gosh, I should have written it down. But they're going to have procedurally generated levels. That's what it's called. So that every time you play through, it will be different. Even if you're playing the same sort of mission, it will be different. Now, XCOM 1 did a very good job with doing this. Almost every mission you did, there was a lot of similar missions, like you crash a ship and you had to go fight the aliens inside. It was always a little bit different. But then you had the main story missions that were always the same. It seems like they're going to bring a lot more diversity to all the missions with having the procedurally generated environments, and maybe you'll mix up a little bit of who the baddies are, how many, how strong, how weak, different things, where they're placed, what, where your cover is, just the basic environments of which you'll be fighting the aliens in. So that's pretty exciting. I really hope it comes out to consoles sooner rather than later, because I'd love to play it. And I could go ahead and break down and buy it on PC. I just don't sit in front of my PC as much as I do with my PlayStation 4. My PlayStation 4 is my Netflix. But I will play it. I will play it. Make no bones about it. I will play XCOM. So, let me know what you think. Are you excited for a new XCOM? Did you like the first one, or did you hate the first one? Hit me up. Let me know. Comments down below. Of course, at What's My Face on Twitter. Cool plus Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us. Wow. I ran through that show, didn't I? Yeah, I did. So, but all of tonight's shows, tonight's topics, if you have anything you want to get a hold of us with, wordsfromyface.com is a great way to do it. Of course, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, all great ways of getting a hold of us. Let me know what you think about Independence Day 2. How about Ash versus the Evil Dead? We're a huge fan of that series. And, XCOM. And any other video games. If you have any requests, I do a lot of research on a lot of my topics. I mean, you have pages, like literally this show might have gone by pretty fast, but I wrote 5 pages worth of notes for this show. So hit me up, let me know. I'll do some research. I'll dig in there. I'll give you my opinion on anything. So hit me up. Let me know what you think. And as always, I'm Brian. With me as always, wait, can't say that right now. Brennan is Chewbacca disabled. How about that? But I'll see you later. Peace. If I can find the exit and stop button, which doesn't always happen.